What's up, folks? It's Dan here from BeAGameCharacter.com, where we turn games into gains, and today we're doing another video in our Ultra Instinct training series. So previously in this series we have covered proprioception and peripheral vision, which was our first video. We have also worked on dodging and slipping, which was our second video. This video we're going to work on developing hand and foot speed, because obviously one of the other hallmarks of Ultra Instinct is Goku moves super fast, okay? So, but before we get to the drills that we're going to be doing to build that, we're going to talk about the two things that you can do that we're not going to cover in this video. The first thing that you can do to build speed is increase your strength. The most efficient way of doing this is honestly by lifting weights. We are not going to cover that in this video because I have already made a Goku workout video. The link is down in the description below. It will also be at the end of the video. I also have a Krillin workout video if you perform more bodyweight oriented stuff over on BeAGameCharacter.com. That's also good, but the Goku workout is better. Okay? Bar none. That's the way it is. So, the best thing that you can do to build overall speed is to build strength. This is because, let's say, for instance, you wanted to move this ball. Let's say this ball weighs, a quarter of a pound, okay? So, let's say you wanted to move this ball, and you wanted to move it as fast as you could. Would you put 50 pounds of force on it, or 100 pounds of force on it? 100 pounds of force, right? Now, granted, the velocity matters as well, but velocity matters in applying anything, okay? So, changing velocity is something that you're going to do based upon what your brain tells your body to do. But as far as exerting force from your muscles, strength training is the best way to do that. The more force you exert from your muscles at a higher rate of speed, the faster you're going to move. That whole lifting weights makes you slow and uncoordinated is complete BS. Every single athlete on the planet lifts weights in some way, shape, or form. Or almost every single athlete. I'm not sure about people who practice curling. Any curlers out there with curling? I don't know. But I mean, sprinters, the fastest human beings on the planet, they lift weights. They do other stuff too, of course, but they lift weights. So if you want to get fast, first off, the single best thing you can do is lift weights. The other best thing you can do to build speed specifically for combat is heavy bag training. And that's enough of a subject that it should have its own video. I'm not going to try and smoosh heavy bag training in with the other training drills we're doing today. So the drills that we're doing today are things that you can do besides lifting weight and working the heavy bag to build your hand and foot speed, okay? Those other things will either, they already have their own video or they will be getting their own video in the future. So you'll notice our friends from previous Ultra Instinct videos are back. We have our tennis balls again. One of the best training implements that you can buy for under $5. Seriously. Even if you're not working Ultra Instinct training, these are great for massaging yourself, hitting trigger points if you're sore after a workout. They are good for building hand-eye coordination in general. They are great for your feet. If you practice on the floor and you rub your foot on it, it feels amazing, especially if you've been on your feet all day. So seriously, pick yourself up some tennis balls. It's like $3 for a camera. So anyway, what we're going to do first is we're going to work on developing our hand speed with these, okay? I'm going to put this one in my pocket for now. We're not going to use it. All right? What you're going to do, first drill, very simple, okay? Flat hand, put a little arch in it so you can hold the ball in the back of your hand like this. You guys may have seen this before in grade school. This is a thing you can do with pencils, all right? But we're going to do it with tennis balls because it is a little more relative to a fist or a striking target you might be hitting with a fist. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold it up in the air like this. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my hand and then throw it back out and try and grab the ball before it hits the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my hand and I'm going to throw it out and try and grab the ball before it hits the ground. Like so. All right? Do it with the other hand. Now, very simple, very straightforward. As with all of the other exercises we've shown with the tennis balls where they're not tied to something, a little bit more efficient if you get a whole bunch. Like I said, a can of these is $3, a bag of them is like 15. All right, get a whole bunch, keep them next to you, so if you have one that goes flying off willy-nilly, whatever. Get to the point where you can do a whole bucket of these without dropping a single one, your hands are going to be pretty darn fast. All right, so this is going to build hand speed and hand coordination. Next drill we're going to do is very similar, okay? And this one you're absolutely, definitely, probably going to need more than just 3 balls. So a bucket of balls is going to help you out a lot here. What you're going to do is you're going to throw the ball up in the air and then you're going to hit it, like so. Woo. So, again, you can see that thing went flying. I'll get another one over here. The idea here is you want the ball to fly, if you're doing a straight punch, in as straight a trajectory as possible, okay? And you want to work both sides. You want to throw your hand up both sides, and if you're good, as I almost did there, if you have a wall in front of you, you might be able to play catch with yourself. But that's honestly not the goal of this. It's much better to just rapid fire your way through a whole bucket of balls rather than try and play catch with yourself. As much fun as that can be, and as great as that is for building hand-eye coordination, repetition is really key here. And that's going to bring us to point number 2. Repetition, 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 repetition. You're trying to build muscle memory here. The idea is you want your body to move fast enough that you don't think about it. That's the whole idea of Mushin, no-mindedness, ultra instinct. It's the idea that you're not actively thinking about what you're trying to do to strike and or dodge your other opponent. Part of the whole weakness of Goku's initial ultra instinct form was that he could dodge without thinking about it, but he couldn't really attack without thinking about it, because as soon as he started trying to think of attack patterns, he would think too much, it would slow him down a little bit and remove the intensity of the attacks. So you want to have no thought involved in your motion, which is why repeating rather than working on perfection every time is going to be better for you in the long run. To that end, the next thing that we're going to do is very simple, all right? All you're going to do is you're going to throw combinations. Now this is going to differ from throwing combinations at punching bag, all right? The idea here is we're not trying to build power, we're trying to build speed. So when you got your guard up, what you want to do is you want to start slow and then just work your way up faster and faster and faster until you're moving as fast as you can. Now here's a little trick. If you have a tense fist when you're throwing a punch, you are going to slow yourself down. You don't want to be tense through the entire motion of a punch. Instead, you want to tense at the moment of impact when you're hitting somebody, but be fluid for the rest of the time. That's another big key for speed. So what you're going to do to build that, actually, is you're going to hang loose, all right? You're going to keep your hands like this, and when you throw your punches like this, they're much faster because it's very difficult to tense your fist with your pinky out like this. Boom, 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 like that. So what you want to do is you want to keep your pinkies out and start throwing combinations as fast as you can, and you're going to find that your hands are faster. Once you've been doing that for a while, then you can go ahead and start closing your fists up and start throwing them again like that, because you're going to get that inbuilt speed, that innate speed is going to come to you, but only once you've tricked your mind into realizing you can move that fast, and trick your body into staying loose while throwing combinations. Because once you're able to do that, then you can start to turn that pinky in and the muscle memory will stick around. So, different from heavy bag. You want to work the heavy bag too, but the heavy bag is always going to be inherently slow, because on a heavy bag, when you're hitting something, you're going to have a little bit of a thud when you come in there. You're going to have a little bit of a rebound. You're going to have, it's much better for building punching power and much better for better simulating striking somebody. So you don't want to do just shadow boxing by yourself. You also don't want to do just heavy bag. Working both, this is going to build your speed a little more than heavy bag will, because you can work faster combinations. It's like one of the things that sometimes sprinting trainers will do when they're training somebody how to sprint, is they will have them run downhill. Because when you're running downhill, you're inherently going to run faster, and it tricks your brain. It's a mind-muscle connection. It tricks your brain into moving your legs faster, and it will translate a little bit to running along flat ground. So by throwing combinations without any resistance involved, without any tensing, without any impact point, you're going to throw them faster, and once again, you're going to trick your brain into moving faster than it did before. For building leg speed, for kicks and stuff like that, the principles are pretty much the same. Again, working a heavy bag is going to help build speed and power, but you can also build speed by just kicking in the air, all right? This is a very common thing that you'll see in a lot of different martial arts. They'll work with heavy bags, and they'll also work shadow boxing with their kicks. So some things that you can do to introduce kick speed, all right? First off, depending on what martial arts style you're talking about, most martial arts will snap their kicks. Boom, they'll bring it back again. It's something you see in karate, something you see in taekwondo for most kicks that they do, okay? So snapping your kicks back is one of the first things that you can do to improve leg speed, because you can't throw this kick again until it's chambered, right? At the very least, it has to be chambered, even if you're not putting it all the way back to the ground again. If I throw a kick here and then throw it again from here, I'm off balance, I've got no extension, I've got no muscle contraction there before I throw the kick. It's not going to have any power to it. So to drill that, what you can do is you can work on balance kicks. You just throw 1, 2, 3, 4 without putting it down. And you can challenge yourself in a couple of ways with that. You can set a timer and see how many kicks you can throw in that time. You can also just go for maximum numbers. See how long you can keep that leg up in the air and keep kicking without putting it down again. But the idea here again is you want to work speed. So you want to bring the leg back as fast as possible so you can throw it out again. Another thing you can do for developing kicking speed is kick higher than you typically would. Now, I'm going to tell you in a street fight, you can kick to the head, like so. But kicking to the head is not necessarily a great idea. If you kick up here and God forbid, you miss, or the person slips it, or they manage to catch it on their shoulder or whatever, you're in a really bad place. You're on one leg. If you've ever watched some high kick screw-ups in UFC, you'll get an idea of what happens here. Guy takes you down, gotta slip it and pound you in the face, lots of bad things. But when you're drilling kicks, working different heights is a great way to build speed. Because, again, velocity and strength are what delivers power in a strike, okay? So if we want to kick faster, kicking higher is a great way to build speed, because if I can kick up here in the space of a certain amount of time, that means that I can kick down here much faster. If I have trained my thigh to bring it all the way up to here to point my knee at somebody's head, then that means that it's going to take me half as much time to get here. So by just working low kicks the whole time, you might build speed for a low kick, which is good. But if you work in drilling high kicks, you're going to build that strength much faster. And by making your legs work, it's again the overrun principle. It's the idea of when you're running downhill, you can trick your brain into making your muscles fire faster than you usually will, and that will have some carryover. If you punch with loose hands at the air as fast as you can trick your brain into moving faster. Same with kicking high, all right? If you tell yourself, I need to kick this high in the air as fast as I possibly can, your brain's gonna work really hard at making that happen, and that speed will carry over into lower body and or leg kicks, which are much more practical in most situations. So, in addition to working the balance kicks and the rapid fire chambering like we were, you can also work on kicking higher, and that'll make all of your other kicking faster. Finally, the only other thing that you can really work in that's really going to build your speed is live practice. We haven't talked about that yet so much here, but having a partner to work with for a lot of these drills will really help out. Having somebody that can hold hand pads for you that you can strike will really, really help. Having someone you can spar with will really, really help. So if you really, really, really want to reach that ultra instinct level of competition, you need to find the Vegeta for your Goku. You gotta find somebody else who also wants to build hand and foot speed, who can do some of these drills with you. And I might actually do, for the next video on this, I might do specific partner drills that we can do to build that speed as well. So if you think you'd be interested in that, let me know down in the comments below. If you got somebody that's willing to train with you, you want to learn some partner drills for this, we can talk about that in the future. But that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. As always, remember, live boldly, change the world, and continue to be awesome. Bye-bye.
Listen.